This is problem solving 5-3, and we're going to do problem number 3. So I need for you to plot the ordered pairs -3, 5 for P, Q is a -1, 7, and R is 3, 1. Once you have plotted your ordered pairs, then go ahead and, with a straight edge, connect the points. Once you have your triangle drawn, then you have to find the equation of two altitudes. Again, an altitude is drawn from a vertex perpendicular to the side opposite the vertex. So the first thing we have to do is find the slope of line segment QP. Okay, so we're finding the slope for line segment PQ or QP. We have to find, so the order pair for P was -3, 5, and for Q -1, 7. So create yourself a little XY table and find the change in Y and the change in X. So again, slope is the change in Y over the change in X. So in this case, the change in Y is 2 over 2. So that's the slope of line segment PQ. That's the slope of this line segment. Now we have to find the slope of the altitude, which is going to be perpendicular to that line segment. So if it's perpendicular, it's going to have the opposite or negative reciprocal. So 2 over 2 is 1. So the opposite or negative reciprocal of that would be a -1. So we know that the altitude is going to have a slope of a -1, and it's going to pass through the vertex. So the vertex is at 3, 1. So if we know the slope and an ordered pair, we can use the point slope formula to find the equation of the altitude. So X for R was 3. The slope of the line that's perpendicular to PQ was a -1. That's the slope of the altitude times X minus 1. Now we distribute the -1. -1 times X is a -X. And a -1 times a -1 is a +1. Add 3 to both sides. 3's cancel. So Y is equal to a -X plus 4. And that's the equation of the altitude from R to PQ. So again, Y equals a -X plus 4 is the altitude. So it crosses at 0, 4 and has a slope of a -1. So this is your altitude drawn from the vertex perpendicular to the side opposite the vertex, line segment PQ. So the process that we just used to find the altitude from R to PQ, we're going to do again, only now I'm going to go from P to QR. So we're going to do the same process again, only now I have to find the slope of QR. So again, we have to find the slope of QR. So 7 to 1, you have to subtract 6. And a -1 to 3, you add 4. So my slope, the change in Y over the change in X, so a -6 over 4, which reduces to a -3 over 2. So that's the slope of QR, but I want the slope of the altitude, so it's going to be perpendicular to this, so I have to find the opposite or negative reciprocal. So if I flip this and change the sign, this becomes 2/3, and that is going to be the slope of my altitude. So Y minus Y1 equals M times X minus X1 is the point slope form. So I know the slope is a -3/2, and the ordered pair for the vertex is now the ordered pair P, which is at a -3, 5. So Y minus 5 is equal to put in the wrong thing. That should be 2/3. 2/3 is the slope of the altitude times X minus, and again, I'm looking at P, so my X is a -3, so minus a -3. Now you have to do minus a minus is a plus 3. So that's x plus 3. Distribute the 2/3, so that's 2/3 x. Then 2/3 times 3 is just 2. So y minus 5 equals 2/3 x plus 2. Add 5 to both sides. So the equation of the second altitude is y equals 2/3 x plus 7. So now I know the two altitudes. The equations are y equals a negative x plus 4 and y equals 2/3 x plus 7. So now I can use substitution to solve for x. So I'm going to add x to both sides and subtract 7 from both sides. So the x's cancel and the 7's cancel. 2/3 x plus x is 3/3 x plus 2/3 x, which is 5/3 x. And 4 minus 7 is minus 3. So 5/3 x equals a negative 3. I can multiply by the reciprocal to get rid of the fraction. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. So that becomes 1x, which is x. Negative 3 times 3 is a negative 9 over 5, which reduces to negative 1 4/5, or negative 1.8. So once I know the value of x, I can plug it back into either of these two equations. I'm going to choose the first one. So y is equal to minus a negative 1 4/5 plus 4. Minus a minus is a plus, so that's 1 4/5 plus 4, which is 5 4/5, or 5.8. So the ordered pair, negative 1.8, comma 5.8, are the coordinates of my orthocenter. You could also write it as a mixed number, negative 1 4/5, comma 5 4/5.